Hey everyone, let's get right into it. Welcome to the Polymer Bazaar Polycarbonate Market Update Explainer for the first week of August 2026. Look, if you're managing supply chains or making those high-stakes purchasing decisions, you know that timing in the commodity market is literally everything. Today, we're breaking down the absolutely critical pricing movements, the shifting global trends, and the core buying intelligence you need to navigate the polycarbonate or PC market right now. We've got a lot to cover, so let's just jump straight into the data. So our core philosophy here at Polymer Bazaar, it's pretty simple actually. It boils down to three things: price, prediction, and profit. You see, this isn't just about reading numbers off a chart, it's about empowering your purchasing decisions. We're going to look at exactly how raw material costs and regional dynamics are shifting across the globe this week, so you can lock in your strategy, protect your margins, and ultimately secure that bottom line. All right, let's look at the raw materials driving these markets.
Okay, the crucial starting point is always the foundation, right? And for polycarbonate, that means keeping a really close eye on bisphenol A, or BPA. We're tracking some pretty distinct regional shifts at the moment. Over in China, domestic BPA settled at 9,850 RMB per metric ton. But the US market? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. We're actually seeing a downward trend over there, with BPA dropping by $22 per ton. Why? It's basically a combination of lower production costs and generally sluggish demand pulling those numbers down. That leaves the US injection molding grade sitting at 103 cents per pound and extrusion grade at 98 cents. It's a very clear indicator of the cooling we're seeing in the North American sector right now.
Now, let's zoom out and look at how this builds across other major regions, because we are looking at a market of real contrasts right now. Take Europe, for instance. What's fascinating here is that end-use demand is actually quite dull, yet we're seeing price hikes. This upward pressure is being driven entirely by higher landed import costs. It's just an unavoidable reality for European buyers right now. Even if you don't need the material urgently, it's simply costing more to lend it there. Now, contrast that directly with China. Over there, retail inventories remain ample. However, because there are short supplies specifically in the lower-priced resins, buyers have adopted this very cautious wait-and-watch mode. Honestly, nobody wants to make a move unless they absolutely have to. To put those European price hikes into perspective, we are tracking a solid increase of 50 euros per ton for DDP NWE prices. That brings the extrusion grade up to 1,800 euros per ton and the GP molding grade up to 2,050 euros per ton. For buyers in Europe trying to navigate that dull demand we just talked about, these numbers represent a real, tangible margin squeeze. I mean, it's a really tough environment when escalating import costs force your hand despite a slow local market. Okay, let's completely shift gears for a second and focus on a region with a totally different energy this week, the Indian Bazaar. The buying pulse here has visibly improved and the market is incredibly firm. So what exactly is driving the sudden tension? Well, it really comes down to three main catalysts. Number one, domestic stocks are lean. The material simply isn't sitting idle in warehouses. Number two, we're seeing significant import shipment delays, which is aggressively compounding that lack of local availability. And number three, elevated replacement costs. When you combine those three structural factors, you get a market that is highly active and rapidly driving spot prices higher. So what does that firm market translate to in actual rupees? We're talking spot rates peaking at 216 to 219 rupees per kilo in Mumbai. Meanwhile, up in Delhi, we're looking at 220 to 223 rupees per kilo ex-GST. When you're a supply chain executive making multi-million-dollar purchasing decisions, these localized price points are the absolute vital signs of the market you need to be monitoring. The urgency here is very real. Buyers in India are facing a fundamentally different, fast-moving landscape right now, especially compared to that cautious wait-and-watch attitude we saw over in China. Which brings us to the absolute most critical takeaway from our analysis this week. Based on all the regional data we've just covered, here is the official Polymer Bazaar strategic recommendation. With buying interest accelerating and open market prices poised to rise, we advise securing your operational requirements now. Listen, this isn't the time to sit on the sidelines if you're exposed to these rising markets, especially in regions like India. This is a clear strategic directive to protect your operations and lock in your materials before those open market prices climb any higher. Now, I know staying ahead of these kinds of rapid price movements can be a lot. That's why you need the right tools. I want to introduce you to Eva, the Polymer Bazaar AI chatbot. It is incredibly frictionless to use and is powered by advanced artificial intelligence to give you live price updates, news alerts, and market trend reports 24/7 directly to your phone. It's super easy. Step 1, save the number +91 9374624 365.
Step 2, just send a quick hi on WhatsApp. And step 3, you instantly have real-time polymer updates to empower your daily decision-making. Let's wrap up with one final thought. With open market prices clearly poised to rise in key regions, you gotta ask yourself, is your supply chain truly secured for the weeks ahead? It's a crucial question every buyer and executive needs to answer right now, based on this week's intelligence. If you found this explainer valuable, please like, share it with your industry peers, and subscribe so you never miss an essential market update. Make sure to hit that bell icon too. And for the complete detailed PDF report, head over to www.polymerbazaar.com. Thanks so much for joining me to unpack these critical market trends and stay ahead with your purchasing strategy.